Good morning, everybody. Sean here from the Trusted Business Community Association, and today I am joined by the amazing Bobby Semple from Simplified Recruitment Solutions. Bobby's not just a recruitment specialist, but he's a bit of an entrepreneur, is our Bobby. Bobby is. First met Bobby in and around the networking arena when Bobby's business club joined the collaboration that we're part of with the Go Connections team. And Bobby and I got together one very early morning. Well, it was early morning for me anyway. It was about 3, 4 in the morning for me. We hit it off straight away. We stayed on, had a further chat after his meeting, and before you knew it, we were having conversations aplenty, and Bobby has since joined the association as an accredited member for Simplified Recruitment Solutions. He also runs Feel Good Photos, which was started around about 7 months ago. And judging by the award-winning nature of his other businesses, obviously Simplified Recruitment Solutions is an award winner in 2021 for the Champions Award in Australia. And Bobby's Business Club won the coveted Collaboration Award for the networking arena that we're part of through the Trusted Business Community. So I'm expecting Feel Good Photos to be sort of knocking on the door of awards very soon. Give it a chance. So it's only 7 months old, but I don't think it's going to be too far behind it, Bobby.
No.
Obviously, as part of our interview, we're going to hand over to Bobby, and Bobby's going to tell us a little bit more about what he does, and how Simplified Recruitment Solutions can offer a very unique solution to the recruitment process. Now, Bobby's based in Australia. Yes, he's in Australia, hence the reason why there's such a time difference between me and him jumping on each other's meetings. But the one good thing about it is Simplified Recruitment Solutions are reaching out now to the UK market and bringing that uniqueness in the recruitment arena to the UK market. Bobby, great to meet you, mate. How are you?
Mate, thank you so much for having me on the show today. And I just appreciate everything you do, not only just for me, but for your network. It's a hard gig doing what we do, and to have great people in your network like you is an honour. And I really want to be able to support not only Simplified Recruitment Solutions coming to the UK, but also vice versa, any businesses that want to come over to Australia. This is why we have this collaboration meeting that we do, so we can make that distant 24-hour flight a little bit shorter. So.
Certainly been amazing since obviously since the dreaded lockdowns and the restrictions through the COVID-19 situation and the pandemic. The world has become so small; it's become the size of our computer screen. And in all fairness, we wouldn't even probably have known each other if it wasn't for something like that. But it sped the whole process up, didn't it? And we've moved probably 10, 15 years ahead of ourselves, because this was probably going to happen 10, 15 years time. But because of something that was forced upon us, we've all jumped online, and guess what? We can now talk to each other at the press of a button, which is fantastic.
So cool, so cool. Or a press of a link.
Our lives are led
by links now. We're all waiting for a link. Where's the Zoom link? We didn't even know what a Zoom link was 4 years ago, and now we're just like, where is it? Where's the Zoom link?
We need a Zoom. How do we talk to each other? Yeah, no, absolutely. So, Bobby, tell us a little bit. Obviously, for those people listening in to the channel today, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where you originate from. Just give us a little bit of background history, and then if you could just talk to us a little bit more about this uniqueness that Simplified Recruitment Solutions offers.
Yeah, definitely. So as you can hear by my accent, I am probably, to you guys, I probably do sound Australian, but I don't think I do. I was born in Manchester, and then for about 3 years onwards, I was living in Wolverhampton, and so came to Australia about 12, 13 years ago, and recently became a citizen only in January this year. So now dual citizen, so I feel a bit like James Bond on my second passport. Pretty cool having two citizenships. It's an interesting process, that, because you don't go through it anywhere unless you become a citizen somewhere else. And I think we should all go through it, because it gives you a sense of pride when you go there and you go, oh my God, I'm an Australian citizen, even though I was always English or British. But we never had that, and so it was a kind of strange thing. But I digress. And so My background is recruitment. I've got about 15 years experience in recruitment. Before that, I worked in bars and nightclubs. I actually was a DJ in Ibiza for 4 years. So, a varied life. But recruitment really hit a chord with me because it was great because I could find someone a job, and that feeling of giving that person a job was amazing. But then I realized, hold on a minute, the business is getting something out of it as well because they're finding a great person. And to have those two things matched together was a really cool thing to have. My background is mainly internal recruitment. And so I've done internal recruitment for companies like Rolls-Royce, Virgin Holidays, Virgin Atlantic, Goodrich Aviation, plus lots of other small businesses. And so my knowledge is a bit wider than a traditional recruiter, because when I would work for Rolls-Royce, I'd sat in their HR department and recruited for IT, accounts, machine minders, setters, all these different types of positions, where a traditional recruiter would normally just go down the route of specializing in accounts or something else. And so I was already a step ahead of the game because I had that experience. Came to Australia about 12 years ago, and I worked for a numerous number of companies. One of them is one of the largest pharmacy groups here in Australia, a bit like Boots, but a lot cheaper. We don't really have anything like it in the UK from what I'm aware of now anyway. And I actually designed and implemented the HR and recruitment systems. And so I had this real knowledge of how to streamline programs and processes and stuff. I left there then and joined my ex-wife's business. We started a mobile dental company together. And I grew that from 2 people to 70 people in about 2 years. It went from $70,000 turnover year 1 to 4.5 million year 2. And it was through that process I had to reach out to a normal traditional recruiter. We needed to hire 14 people in one go, and they were going to charge us 20% of each of those people. It was a lot of money. We were talking thousands and thousands of dollars. And so couldn't afford to do that. So I ended up doing it myself, and then just saw an opportunity. I was like, if I need this service, then someone else is going to need it. And what do I mean by this service? So this service is really, let's say that you don't want to go and do your own advertising. So we will do it for you. We're that step between doing it yourself, and then there's us, and then there's a normal recruitment agency. And so by being that step, and the idea is to alleviate all the steps of recruitment from you as a business owner or your manager. Like when we speak to clients, we ask them, who would normally do this? And it's either going to be themselves, they do it really badly, they don't have the time to do it, they don't even know what they're doing. Or they give it to a manager or an admin or a receptionist, and exactly the same thing. They don't know what they're doing. They should be doing something else. And one of the prime things is, well, if that person's reviewing resumes and the phone rings and it's a sales call and you miss that sales call, there's other things you can do in your time. And so I had this idea, and so I ran with the idea, and I started Simplified Recruitment literally about 4 months before the pandemic hit. It was before Christmas time over here. I joined BNI Networking, and that was my first networking group I joined. And I had about 3 face-to-face meetings, and then everything went online, and it really played to my strengths. I'm a bit of an introvert, and being stuck behind a computer is where my joy comes from it. And the joy comes from being able to fix a process, streamline it, find new products that can fit into there. And this is what I excelled in. I didn't realize I did until I started it in Simplified. I'd already done it in the mobile dentist, Chemist Warehouse, all these other places. But when I started to do it for myself, I was like, I can really take all of this time stuff out that saves us time. And if it saves us time, we can save you money. If we can bring in more clients and deal with more clients, then we can save you money. And this is what it was all about. It was all about the fact that, first of all, number one, I needed to save money for somebody. I needed to save money on the traditional recruitment agency fees. I need to be able to find great candidates, and we need to be able to place those great candidates. And we also need to care for the candidate through that process, to making sure everyone knew what was going on. So I wrote all this down. I joined BNI. I presented it to people, and they went, "Nah, it's a load of rubbish. There's no way we would never use it." And I was like, "Cool. Well, this is what networking is so good for, because you can go with an idea, you can present it to your friends, and they're going to tell you what's going to work and what's not." So I went away, reimagined it, and came back with 3 different products. Originally, it was $500 per hire. So let's put that in English pounds, it's about $200. £200, sorry, £200. And so reinvented it, came up with 3 products. And then the pandemic hit. And so nobody was recruiting, no one was using me. I'd only literally met 20 people in business. And so what I did was I learned how to network. And so it kind of combines two of my businesses. I threw myself into networking. I met a lot of people, went to a lot of meetings online, had 20 one-to-ones a week, went to 4 meetings a week, introduced lots of people to lots of people, and then just got a name for myself. And then when we came out of that first lockdown in Melbourne, which was the next Christmas, basically, we were in lockdown for about 10 months, which was a bit crazy. Great for me, though. I honestly loved it. It was so good. And literally then we started to get clients, I'd done the work, started to get clients in. So fast forward a few months, we've got about 50 clients, and we were nominated for the Small Business Champions Award of 2021. And even though I appreciate you saying we won the award, we made the finals. We didn't quite win it, but we got down to the top 10 of the recruitment companies in Australia. So about 30,000 people really applied for all the business. So pretty cool. Considering, yeah, really, considering we've not even been trading that long. And so fast forward to now, we've got about 105 clients all around Australia, everything including lawyers, legal assistants, chefs, waitresses, whatever you can think of, as long as it can be advertised on a job board, it's something that we can work on. And again, what our steps do is take away all those steps of recruitment. And what we leave you with the questions to is, hey, is this the right job advert? And you go, yes. Hey, do you want to meet this person? You say yes or no. You say yes, cool. Hey, do you want to offer this person? Yes. And that's it. So out of all the steps, which is about 30 hours of work, you're going to be left with about an hour plus an interview. Let's say if you interview 10 people, well, then you've got to be obviously going to be 10-hour interviews. It's going to be a lot more time, but the administration behind it is gone. You don't have to deal with anything. And so we deal with everything. We even go all the way through to collecting new starter information, bank details, next of kin, any pension details that you might need, anything like that. Certificates, we collect that. We do 2 references. We even do a police check. Over here in Australia, we do something cool, because it's a difficult place to come and work. We're doing a working in Australia check. But if you have any other checks we need us to do, we'll do them for you. And so we take away all those steps. And one of the coolest parts about our process is one of the money saving and time saving for us and for you is we provide recorded video interviews of the candidates. And when we provide these videos of the candidate to the client, we've had clients come to us and go, yeah, we'd like to make an offer. And we're like, no. That's the first part. You've got to meet them. I know it's been great, but you've got to go meet them. And so, and it's really cool because what we do is we ask the client, what do you want to know at this stage? And they give us the questions, and that goes into a system. It's an automated system that we send out to the candidate. They answer the questions as they come up in the system, and it records them answering. And because you're giving the questions that you want to know the answers to, you can make a decision really quickly. You get to hear them, you get to see them, you get to kind of feel them in a weird way because they're right in front of you. And you don't get that with a phone interview. You don't even, And so by us providing this, you're getting an insight into that person to go, okay, well, they're not going to be quite right, or yes, they're going to be right. Yeah. And so all these steps, it will take you, if you don't have the systems in place, and to cover every one of those steps, about 30 hours.
Right.
It takes us a lot less than that because we use automation, we use systems within systems. And so when we do trigger something in our system, it does something else. And so we can really allow us to take more jobs on, which allows us to offer a lower fee. And each one of those steps is just something that I've created or learned over working for other businesses. I'm going, okay, well, that didn't quite work, and then I streamline that. And the end benefit is that I can charge a lower fee. How low are those fees? People want to know. How is that? How low? It's 50% lower than a traditional recruitment agency. Wow. 2 weeks ago, we saved someone $15,000. $15,000. Only yesterday, I picked up a job, and it was for a psychologist. That psychologist would be paid $220,000 a year. Right. What's 15% of $220,000? I can't even work that out. I know what 10% is. That's $22,000. That position is going to cost about $5,000 to that client. And so we're going to save them not only all this money, all this time, but we're also going to find them amazing candidates. At the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding, and our success rate is 85%. And even in a normal world, that is very good. And never mind, especially here in Australia, it's a candidates market. I don't know what it's like in the UK, probably pretty similar. And it is, the end result is the client gets on with their job, with what they're good at. We do what we're good at. They just deal with an email, have an interview, and then the person will start. And that's what you need to have from a recruiter. No fluff. No, hey, we think you should hire this person because they're the best person. They're probably the best person because they're getting paid the most and they want to get a commission. It's literally as simple as that. We make sure that every candidate gets a response. Hey, sorry, even unfortunately, you haven't got the position. It's very important.
That's unique in itself, to be fair, because over here you'd be lucky if you get a reply.
It drives me mad because the worst part about it is most people have a recruitment system if they're recruiting, and it's a click of a button. It drives me. It's so easy, and what people don't realise, and it also goes against the candidate do this as well, though. That what they don't realise is what happens if you need that client candidate at some point in the future. They're going to remember that you didn't reply back to them. But also, it's all the way around. Any people who are candidates, like, make sure you don't ghost us, because at some point I'm going to have your dream job and you're going to know that, and I'm going to know you ghosted me, and I'm going to go, sorry, mate, you ain't going to get anywhere near this. So it's all about saving time, it's saving money, and the end result is finding amazing candidates.
Yeah, 100%. So there's a new banner behind you there saying SRS TV. Yes. Tell us a little bit more about this, because this is a new sort of additional part of what you're doing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's funny. It all started with a guy that I met and in a Facebook group, and he ran a really good job Facebook group in a place called Townsville, which is a small town in Australia. And I'm in a lot of these groups, and they're terrible. Like, we get spammers, you get just crap put in there, not jobs, not real job, all this kind of stuff. But this group is spot on. Like, he manages it really well. He's got over 14,000 people in this group. I'd say 5,000 are business owners, the rest are candidates. And so he allows people to post their job and helps them get a job. And so he wanted to be able to monetize it. And so I said, okay, well, how about I jump on board with you? I'll give you a commission for any jobs that I get out of the group. Right? So to cut this long story short, I had this vision of how we can provide more content to the groups. And so I thought, rather than, like, we do posts and stuff, which is great, but I said, you know what, why don't we do a TV show? Why don't we get a candidate on this TV show and broadcast it live in front of 14,000 people? That's only the groups, never mind 10,000 people on my LinkedIn and my Facebook. And so we can broadcast this candidate live, we can interview them so the business owners can see them, and we can try and get them a job. And then we're like, okay, well, while we're doing that, why don't we provide resume tips and stuff like that? Okay, well, we'll do that. And then we're like, well, why don't we try and get a business owner to come on? They can present their job so candidates can see them. And we're like, okay, well, this can be a weekly thing. And so we started last week, and we brought a candidate on and we interviewed them and we did some resume tips and stuff like that. And it was great. We've got about 400 people watching the show, which was crazy. Oh my God, 400 people. That's crazy. That video now has over 5,000 views. Wow. In that group alone. Never mind all the other stuff. Yeah. And so now we have now we're doing it weekly. So we have every Wednesday, and anyone can join. You can be anywhere in the world. All you've got to do is search for SRS TV in Facebook, and you can join that, or find me on LinkedIn and join me. And so today what we have is, I found some really cool tech for candidates. So we're going to talk about that. We have a lady coming on who is going to talk about resumes and talk about resume tips, and she's going to do a whole 20-week series on that. Every week there's going to be something. Yeah. And then we have a mindset coach coming on, and this is the beauty about networking. You learn about so many great things, and mindset is so important with everything in life. So this person's going to come on and not talk only about mindset to the business owner who's searching for a candidate, but also mindset to the candidates. You've got to have a good mindset when you're searching for a job. You are going to get knocked back. You are going to get no's. So we're going to provide this amazing value. Not only just are we going to bring candidates on to interview and bring people on to talk about their jobs, we're going to provide this valuable content to help people, not only in just finding a job, but in just their life in general. And every week this is going to happen. And I'm nervous because you've got to do stuff out your comfort zone. Like, this is, to have 4 people watch, you don't even know at the time, but to have that many people, and all you're doing is on a Zoom screen and you're just talking about experiences. And the end result is that you're going to help people. And if you can do that within your businesses, you're helping people and you're honest with that and you're straightforward and that's all you want to do, everything else will come to you. Like at some point, this will be, maybe it will be a TV show, and maybe we'll have sponsors, and maybe we'll have all these things. But if you don't start something and with the right intention of, hey, this is going to be great because this is going to help. Not only am I going to be able to help all these people with this great knowledge, but these amazing people in my network are going to come on the show and they're going to get broadcast across this. And so everyone wins. I win, they win, the candidates win, the people win, the guy who owns the Facebook group wins. And that's an amazing situation to be in. And I'm really looking forward to that challenge. And it's an easy thing to do. We can do it in the UK. Obviously, the time difference is a bit weird, but we can do that. We can do these things. And so if you are watching this and you think, hey, this could be quite cool for me, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we can set that up and get some traction on your job, or if you're a candidate and you're interested in coming on board. Even better, if you know somebody who's coming to Australia on a working holiday visa, or maybe even moving to Australia in the next year, whatever it is, that's a great opportunity for them to come on the show and be presented in front of all these business owners. So
in
it's endless.
preparation for when they move. Yeah, of course.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Getting in front of people long before they've even arrived, which I think is amazing. So, Bobby, tell me, obviously, you mentioned how obviously for people to get hold of you if they're interested in finding out more. Where do they find you, mate? Because obviously, I know you mentioned Facebook and LinkedIn, but where do they find you? Where do you hang out?
Yeah. So LinkedIn, I'm on that regularly, nearly every day doing something, so easy on your phone, downside, I suppose. But yeah, so LinkedIn, just go search for Bobby Semple or Simplified Recruitment Solutions, SRS TV. Even I would imagine if you did a search just on Google for Bobby Semple Simplified Recruitment Solutions, I'd probably end up coming up with the amount of content that goes out. You can find me on Facebook, Bobby Semple, or Bob Semple. I'm on Facebook. You can also find Simplified Recruitment SOS TV on Facebook as well. No doubt, if you connect with Sean or speak to Sean, he'll send me an email. But my email is bobby@simplifiedrecruitment.com.au. And or you can go onto my website, simplifiedrecruitment.com.au, and pick info and book a time with me. I'm really open with my network as well. Always one-to-ones is pretty cool. I like meeting new people. So if I can help you in any way, please reach out.
Of course, you can also find Bobby on the directory, which is got a video link access to it. So you can, if he's showing that he's available to talk to you, you can simply pick up the video link with him on our directory and have a one-to-one with him immediately. So,
Bobby, cool, mate. That is so cool. I love that.
It is awesome, isn't it? It's an awesome piece of kit, I must admit. And I can't lay claim to it. It's an Occam. It's basically built by a company called Occamo. It's been an amazing addition to the ability to connect people up through the association. Bobby, it's always a pleasure, mate, to have a conversation with you, albeit that I have to get up at the crack of dawn to do it. But it's worth it every time I do, mate. Now, I'm going to do a little plug for Bobby as well. And it's it's a joint thing, but on the first Wednesday of May, we're having a little get together, aren't we? Australia and the UK market are coming together, and anyone in between, of course, anyone in and around. Now
everyone's welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see Bobby on there. You'll see me. So if anyone wants to know a little bit more about doing a bit of a sort of international networking forum, either reach out to Bobby or reach out to myself, and we'll be able to add you to the guest list for obviously coming along to that as well. So as Bobby said, everyone's welcome. Bobby, it's been
a pretty good time as well for you guys.
Yeah,
8 o'clock is a good time.
8 o'clock. Yeah, it's not silly o'clock. It's not
3 o'clock.
Silly o'clock in the morning, 3 till 5. Do you know what
Who would
though?
do
I'll be
that?
honest with you, Bobby. That night that I sat there watching a bit of TV till silly o'clock in the morning myself, and I suddenly went, hang on, there's a networking group in Australia coming up in about an hour and a half's time. Oh, I'll stay up for it. Best thing I ever did that day, mate. I can assure you. Absolutely best thing I ever did.
Everything happens for a reason, mate. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an absolute privilege to be part of a collaborative force in networking with you. It's an absolute privilege to have such a brilliant recruitment solutions company as an accredited member, and as an international business over there in Australia, wanting to not only help the Australian marketplace but also the UK marketplace by bringing this uniqueness to recruitment, and a much more personalised service, I think is really vital, and I'm sure it's going to shake up the recruitment world here in the UK, and it will be you who sets that in motion, my friend. Listen, great to have you here, mate. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to reach out to Bobby where he said where you can find him, and we'll look forward to obviously catching up again very soon for our next interview. But in the meantime, thanks ever so much, Bobby, for being part of us. Simplified Recruitment Solutions. Watch out for them here in the UK. They're on their way.